Nation, do you have faith? It's Good Friday. Do you have faith? Is there something missing in your life? Is there? I know it's missing from your life. Faith No More. Specifically the album Angel Dust. Yeah. All this faith talk, fuck it. Faith No More's Angel Dust? There's a good topic for conversation. Faith No More has earned a reputation. The reputation being one of the most bizarre acts from the 1980s and early 1990s. One of the founders, if not the forefather, of the alternative metal genre, so to speak. That really was influenced by the nu metal stylings of the late 1990s, thanks to the rap rock style that they were able to incorporate on some of their songs. Especially and most prolifically on The Real Thing, the album that preceded Angel Dust. But then also the alternative rock or alternative metal that you hear today. Angel Dust is one of these strange album cases where you're going up against an album such as The Real Thing, which was widely considered to be a crowning achievement, a perfect album. I myself have said these words. I find The Real Thing by Faith No More to be a perfect album. It's a rarity. It's something that barely occurs. And the reason why I thought that way was because it just blended all the types of things that I really enjoyed into one gigantic pot. It was almost like my musical mentality was protruded onto a canvas and then given to me. It was a perfect individualized representation of my love. With Angel Dust, they kind of moved a little bit away from the Real Thing mentality, and this was the last album to feature their original guitar player. However, what you get with Angel Dust is something that, while it is still collectively just still as bizarre as ever, in fact, it's actually treaded on the more bizarre territory, and it's mainly because of the fact that Mike Patton did not really participate in the songwriting at all for The Real Thing, but did with Angel Dust. But this, even though it treads this more bizarre pattern, this more bizarre trail, Angel Dust actually shines forth as somewhat more mature. I know, it's like a paradox. And the reason why is because the sound itself has grown up. Not necessarily the mentality or anything like that, but the sound has really grown up. You see a lot of different themes throughout this entire record, not to mention you sense just a lot of creativity flowing through whenever you listen to Angel Dust. And you hear a lot of familiar things. That's the weird thing. Sometimes creativity can be found by blazing new ground. Other times, creativity can be putting your own spin on something that has already occurred, or something familiar to a listener. For example, here on Angel Dust, the very last track is a cover of Easy, or Easy Like Sunday Morning. Mike Patton style, oh, gotta love it. You gotta love his passion and energy, which basically is the duality to his absolute insanity. And this is a perfect representation of that. You gotta love a track like RV, where the soft piano line reminds you of the water stages from the original Super Mario Brothers game. And if you don't hear that, then I'm nuts. Then I'm crazy. Then I'm on par with Mike Patton. But it's there. You have the crazy, bizarre lyrics, such as Return to My Own Vomit Like a Dog, off of Kindergarten, where Mike Patton uses his patented insanity to once again perplex a listener. You see songs such as Crack Hitler or Jizzlobber that are obviously about very strange things. Jizzlobber itself is supposed to be about a fear of prison, though it's also been rumored it's about a porn star. Hard to tell. The point of the matter is that these guys draw influence from just about anything, even if it seems mundane to the rest of us. And the representation from the music that we get is something that's very vast, something that's very bizarre, but is a perfect representation of the world that we live in. See, the problem is that most conventional music, they'll explore some of these topics, but they'll do so without the music behind them really representing just how strange that these topics and these things really are. For example, if Mike Patton during these particular sessions was staying up all night, doing a sleep deprivation experiment, watching late night television, and was inspired to write a song, I don't know. Isn't it bizarre that that's all that's on late night television, are just these advertisements that really, it's almost like trying to to sell people things, especially if they're trying to sleep. If they leave the TV on, it's almost like trying to sell people things in their sleep, trying to implant it into their mind. It's really just, it's bizarre. And you hear in a song like Kindergarten, right in the middle of it, where you just hear Mike in the background just go blah 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 blah. It reminds you of being a kid. It reminds you of the mindless things. Like back then, it was so important to you because you're a kid, and these are your schoolmasters, your headmasters, your teachers, your principals. They're telling you all these important themes of life, all of these, you know, if you do this, you're bad, drugs are bad, don't have sex before marriage, blah, 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 blah. Write it 100 times, write it 100 times, basically so it implants into your brain. It's like Big Brother, only it's being done in our school systems. It's crazy how you're able to blend together and recognize these little subtleties. And yet it was incorporated in music with Angel Dust. RV is probably one of the best toasts that I could see to the modern everyman who lives in an RV, has no aspirations for life, but yet somehow has gotten married. That means some woman actually has lived down her expectations to his level, and somehow, and for some strange reason, unbeknownst to society, has spawned children. It's a depraved thought, but my God, is it something that is out there. Other people would not touch this, because it's just so depressing, it's just so normal in a lot of locations that it wouldn't even seem topical. But Patton does, Faith No More does, and the music behind it is excellent. That's a great theme for this entire record. It's so diverse, it's so bizarre, it's so out there, but it speaks about things that we all know, and we sometimes just refuse to recognize that are out there. And it's not afraid to have the accompanying music sound just as crazy, almost like a carnival. Almost like you're inside a musical carnival, and these are the individual sideshows. And you have Mike Patton, the demented ringmaster. The demented ringmaster right there in center ring, announcing each and all of these for you, heralding it. This is a fantastic album, folks. A surefire lock for this year's alternative week. And an album that if you have not checked out, that if you've not had inside your life, if you still have faith in your life, you should have Faith No More, Angel Dust. Perfect representation of what that album is all about is in the title, Angel Dust itself. A beautiful name for a terrible drug. This is beautiful music about terrible things. Coverkillernation saying, wow. Demented Ringmaster.